Hello, this is James, WA7J&J, hiking back from Devil's Mountain. This was actually the site of my first real video for YouTube, so kind of fun to come back here. Wanted to make a quick announcement as part of a Summit on the Air announcement. There is a new SOTA challenge this year. The last time I participated in one was 2020, and I started playing with it the first about halfway through the year. But I had a blast. There was folks in the US that were doing it, and it was kind of fun. It came down to the last weekend you could activate and get points, and me and one other person down in California, I didn't know who was going to win, at least for the whiskey region, but it was just fun. I hiked around with the Icom 7300 so I could get 100 watts and at least a few times, so just kind of fun time. So this year the challenge is on 2 meter and 70 centimeter single sideband NCW. I know at the Summit on the Air camp out in Oregon the last 2 years, there's been a lot of Quanshengs and folks playing with CW and SSB, and so it's fun to bring SSB into a challenge and get that used. Applegate, this is Whiskey Alpha 7, Juliet, November Juliet, up on Mount Scott.
Whiskey Alpha 7, November Juliet, onto the sideband. I had to tune around a little bit for you to come in clearly, but hopefully you're copying me just fine. I'll give you a 59 for good measure.
QSO, 59 for good measure here. You're my first SSB in a Quansheng. So.
There we go. We can keep walking. I can key and walk.
The points for the challenge are based on the distance in kilometers. It's 1 point per kilometer per QSO, unique QSO or call sign on each summit, and then you multiply that by the number of summits that you activate for the year. So three different aspects go into it. And then for the chaser, it's similar. So there is a challenge for both activator and chaser. To check your points, you can go to the SOTA database. There's ways to sort this specific challenge and see how you're doing and what the points are as you go through the year. It is the full year challenge. And there are, I'll say the distance piece is where I see most of the comments on the SOTA Reflector, and but it went pretty smooth today with the contacts I made. The main thing is you need to ask for their location or the chaser's location. You can't just assume you know where they are or look up their location on QRZ. So today I was asking people, are you at home or can I get a 6-digit grid square? And everyone was able to look that up and give that to me. Or the distance from their summit is automatically calculated, or if they're in a park or summit, then that distance is automatically calculated. So again, just ask where they are located, and I'm sure folks will get used to it as we go through the year. For equipment, there is more equipment that can be used. KX2, or at least KX3, there's some options there. Josh W7H mentioned that that's what they were using. There's a lot of Quanshengs out there. Not the best receiver. I've heard a tip is to use a SOTA beams or a bandpass filter because they don't hear real well, but in a pinch you can use a Quansheng to make contacts, and chasers as well. I know a lot of folks use those, and that's what I made contact with on New Year's Eve. So that's an option. I got the Icom 705 set up, and it's heavier than the KX2, but I'm gonna plan to use that to hike more this year since it does both 2 meter, 70 centimeter SSB at 10 watts. And I'll probably use my Elk Log Periodic I hiked with it quite a bit my first 2 years as Summit on the Air, and it's a little heavier, a little bit more there, but I might use that more. So got that set up with a 705 and a Quansheng backup with the band pass, and ultimately it'll just be a lot of fun. Looking forward to get back and seeing my log today, because there was quite a few folks out there today. But it's going to really vary on the time you get to a summit and who's out there listening. I know I went to a summit yesterday, which was not good for VHF and pretty quiet, but I could at least test my equipment, make sure I wasn't missing anything before I went out for a hike. So anyway, just wanted to make sure the SOTA community was aware. If you have not done summits on the air yet, one of the pieces of this channel, or goals of this channel, is to get people excited about playing radio outside, whether it's summits or parks or different mesh devices or whatever we do. It's just kind of fun to play radio. So thanks again. I'll say 7-3 from WA7 J&J.
QSL, QSL. It's really windy up here, but I'm on Sierra Kilo 163. QSL. QSL, you're 5'9" as well up on Devil's Mountain. Waiting for the SSB CW. Very good for my stuff.